I'm back with Rosie Perez. Rosie, you've programmed tonight's movies, and you picked two great ones, and thank you for coming. It's a thrill for me.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I love TCM. I watch it every single night, honestly.
I believe it. You're here in just a great theater in Washington Heights, the United Palace Theater.
The detail, oh my God. It's just like you wonder, how the heck did they do this?
Yeah, totally. So you picked two boxing movies. The first one, Killer's Kiss, Stanley Kubrick's second movie, was, as we said, boxing adjacent. The other, The Harder They Fall. This is a full-on boxing movie. Boxing, clearly a big part of your life. In fact, Al Bernstein, the legendary boxing commentator and broadcaster, referred to you at the Boxing Hall of Fame, right?
Yes, International Boxing
At the International Boxing Hall of Fame as the first lady of boxing.
Yes.
And it's stuck.
It's stuck.
Yeah.
My cousin Sixto says that he thought of the name first, but Al Bernstein put it on the map.
Yeah, so it has, Sixto doesn't have the reach of Al Bernstein.
No, he does not. But I picked these two films not only because I'm a boxing fanatic, but also I love film noir. And these two films really join those two genres together just so perfectly, especially The Harder They Fall.
Yeah. Boxing is the sports genre that lends itself most to great films.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think it is because it really shows the human spirit about following your dreams and then sometimes having your dreams just crash and burn, you know, but everybody's rooting for that Rocky moment. And it would have been easy for me to pick Rocky because that's one of my favorite boxing films as well.
Who doesn't love
but
Rocky?
The reason why I love Harder They Fall is because it talks about the business of boxing. And that you don't see a lot in boxing films. You saw it a lot more in the 40s and the 50s, but not so much present day. The business of boxing is as brutal and really, really bloody as what happens inside the ring.
Yeah, and particularly in an era when fighters didn't get paid. And I'm sure there's still a whole swath of young fighters who haven't made it who still aren't getting paid. Here we get Humphrey Bogart. This is his final role. He looks worn down, which works really well for his character. He's a publicist. And Rod Steiger, who's a mob boss, brings him in to help sell the world on this Argentinian fighter, played by Mike Lane, and to sell him as this rising star and the next champion because he's so big, one punch from him could knock any man out. Except he's a terrible fighter.
He's a horrible fighter.
Powder puff punch and a glass jaw. That's a great combination.
And that in the fight game is called padding your fighter. You know, you give them easy fights to either build them up.
To be able to say, look, he's 9-0 with 8 knockouts.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
And also sometimes they do it legitimately so that the fighter gets used to being in the ring and then the competition gets more and more difficult. But a lot of the time, especially early on, in the earlier years of the fight game, they would do it just to fix fights. And this movie was loosely based on a real fighter, Primo Carnera.
Who's had 2 movies loosely based on him.
That's
this
right.
one and Requiem for a Heavyweight with Anthony Quinn.
Yes,
made, 6 years
another
later.
excellent boxing film. And Primo actually sued the studio and lost.
Yeah. This is based on a 1947 novel by Bud Schulberg called The Harder They Fall. The movie comes out 9 years later. And there are a couple things in here that, again, it's not the Primo Carnera story, but it is loosely based on his story, and Primo sued, but couldn't win.
Yeah, and Humphrey Bogart's character is also loosely based on Harold Conrad, who was an actual boxing publicist. And he was very, very respected. And Thomas Hauser was telling me that he was a bit of a hustler. That's why he fit so well. And he was also really famous because he was the person that brought, at the time known as Cassius Clay, to the Beatles. And that famous photo that they had together down in Miami. And it was supposed to be Sonny Liston taking that photo up, but Sonny Liston had seen the Beatles the day before on the Ed Sullivan Show and said, who the hell are these guys? My son could play drums better than that guy with the nose.
I didn't know any of that story. That's
Thomas
great.
Hauser told me that story. He wrote it in his book about Ali, and I was cracking up on the phone with him. And yeah, but so this film just packs, no pun intended, so much in it, so much history about the fight game. So I urge your viewers to really look into the history of it all because it's fascinating.
Yeah, and read about Primo Carnera and his story, because his story is chilling and tragic, but you can also see why the movies thought, oh, this is this will make a great story. All right, this is a great film. We're going to watch it. We'll talk more afterwards, as we always do. Rosie Perez, you're the best. Thank you very much. Here it is from 1956, directed by Mark Robeson, based on Bud Schulberg's novel. Here are Humphrey Bogart and Rod Steiger atop the cast of The Harder They Fall. I mean, it's a perfect ending, too, right? But, you know, it still pains me to see him give away $26,000. and one of the great things about Bogey, though, why he's so good, is that he knows he has to do it. But there's that moment when he's like, I worked so hard and I risked so much and I lost so much of myself, my soul for this $26,000. But obviously, I'm going to have to give it to Toro.
Yes.
And he does. And then
And he does.
And he's a hero then.
And he redeems himself.
And he doesn't say, it's my cup, but I'm giving it to you. He's like, yeah, here's your money.
Yeah. And it was a perfect film also to show a boxer's life. You know, how there's so many other people involved in the decision-making of your career, and you don't have a lot of control. And that's actually a lot of, still to this day, I mean, boxers have so much more control nowadays than it was in the past. But still, if you think about other athletes, like, you know, NFL players or baseball players or NBA players, the free agency, I mean, it's just, I wish that was in boxing, you know, but it's not. And there's the scene with the punch-drunk guy who actually was legitimately punch-drunk.
That's a fighter named Joe Krebs.
He's just being himself, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And he says such a poignant line. He says, boxers have a short life, but managers go on forever.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and also there's a lot of great cameos of real, actual
Well, first
fighters.
of all, playing Buddy Brannon, the champ, that's Max Baer.
Max Baer.
Who had the reputation, I don't know if it's true, that he killed 2 people in the ring. But part of that was, obviously, it's a dangerous sport and people die. But Max Baer was a ferocious fighter. He's a good actor, too. Even the fighter who played Gus Dundee, that was Pat Comiskey. You know, when he went down, when he got hit, he has that look. I mean, that's acting. That's a really great performance.
Jersey Joe.
And, of course, Jersey Joe Walcott as George, yeah.
And Jersey Joe had a really good career as well. He won a championship fight just once, but his acting skills were really great.
They fully committed to these parts, and the boxing scenes in it, I think, are pretty strong.
And also, really hard thing about this film, it's about money. They call it prize fighting for a reason. I mean, to step in the ring and have your life be in jeopardy, you better give me as much money as possible.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And it was the same thing. It's, you know, with the Willis character played by Bogart. It's like, if I'm going to discredit myself, you know, compromise myself, you better pay me for it. It's just really hard pill to swallow.
And speaking of the money, to that point, one of my favorite, most powerful scenes in the movie, and the way they get through all of it is effective, too, from a storytelling point of view. When Rod Steiger tells the accountant to explain why Toro's getting $49. And there's a moment when Bogart says, all right, I got it. You don't need to, I got it. You guys are screwing him. And Steiger goes, no, you started this. We're going to finish it.
Right.
And then we keep, it's a really good scene. It's a great scene, painful scene. So we talked about this a little before the movie, about why boxing films lend themselves to such great storytelling. I mean, you know, if you made a list of the top 50 sports movies of all time, there'd be more boxing movies on there than any other. I think, no, I don't even think it's close.
Because everyone gets knocked down by life, right? Yeah. No matter how much money you have or how little money you have, everyone at a certain point in your life, or maybe multiple times in your life, you're gonna get knocked down, right? Not everybody gets back up, right? So when you see someone get back up, it just does something to your heart, you know? And that's why people always go just to see boxing movies.
So what's your favorite boxing movie?
My favorite boxing movie, honestly?
Yeah.
Body and Soul. John Garfield, one of my favorite actors of all time. It's just amazing, and I don't think any other actor could have played it, especially because John Garfield fought up in the Bronx. He fought, and so he had that natural grit to him, and he had that heart that most people don't talk about that boxers have. Boxers, I know them personally, they're very sensitive people. Very, very sensitive people, and you'll find that surprising. But when you go to a title fight, whether they win or lose, they cry. Yeah. Have you ever seen that? They cry. Sometimes they cry in the ring, sometimes they don't, but I followed boxers into their dressing room after the fight, whether they win or lose, the tears come.
Yeah. Rosie Perez, the First Lady of Boxing, is dubbed by Al Bernstein. Thank you so much. This was a pleasure. And,
My pleasure.
Yeah, and you're our resident boxing expert as well. I hope you'll come back.
Oh, please, please, thank you.
Rosie's work is done for the night, but the movies continue on TCM, as always, uncut and commercial-free. Coming up next, Eddie Muller has Noir Alley. Now, I'm taping this at a time where I don't know what Eddie's movie is going to be. So I'll just tell you that if the programming people have done their job, this will be a boxing movie. And if it's not a boxing movie, it's Rosie's fault. Stay with us.
Next on TCM, Cash on Demand, then The Young Runaways, and later, The Big Cube. Be there or be square on TCM tonight.